Alright, so welcome to Lincoln National Forest, which we just entered. I gotta tell you, this is one of my absolute favorite places on the planet. Now, sure, I came here a lot as a kid, so, you know, I've got a lot of good memories here. But also, it's just amazing. There's so much going on here. The earth got really, really busy around here. So, yesterday I was at Valley of Fire, which is where that lava flow just kind of happened. Wasn't a big explosion or anything. It just happened. That was just like 5,000 years ago, which is nothing. And then right next to it, White Sands. Now, because of the pandemic, White Sands is closed right now. But just south of Valley of Fire, there's just this giant patch of white sand. It's all gypsum. Sure, yeah, why not? And then you've got what we're looking at, what we're starting to drive up into here, which is one of the southernmost parts of the Rocky Mountains. Now, as you can tell, I mean, just looking, this is hardcore desert. I mean, we're in the mountains, but I mean, we're in southern New Mexico. It's already 85 degrees outside, and it's not even noon, and it's probably going to hit 100 or more. Well, at least down in the valley, down in Alamogordo it will. And we're headed to Cloudcroft, incidentally, right now. But this is desert. I mean, I'm waiting to watch a coyote chasing a roadrunner going out here, right? But in under 20 minutes from right now, in less than 20 minutes, I'm going to be in alpine climate. I'm going to be surrounded by pine trees. It's going to be nice and cool outside. I'm going to be high up enough that there are still probably some patches of snow here and there up in the mountains. It's just absolutely magnificent. So we're also going to go to a spot and set up the big orange box and the antenna with the antenna mast that I made and already made a video about. But I've never set it up anywhere except my backyard so far. So this is going to be the big test. Look at that. Oh. Video does not do it justice. You got to be here. It is magnificent. Looking at all this geology, and I mean, obviously it's a pretty popular place. People hiking down into that little canyon and looking around. Oh, and there's the coolest thing ever. I don't care if you're a kid. I don't care if you're a grown-up. Whether you admit it or not, tunnels are cool. I see the light at the end of the tunnel. Go toward the light. Go toward the light. Oh, cool, more mountains. Awesome. It's been 8 minutes since that last video clip I took. Look at that. 8 minutes. I went from hardcore desert to hardcore pine trees. And it's 10 degrees cooler outside too. Still got a ways to go. This does not suck. I mean, seriously. This is amazing. This never gets old, and I've been coming up here my whole life. Well, this is a spot recommended in a video by Dispersed Camping Man. I'm going to put a link to his channel down in the description. And big shout out to him. Just arrived, and I believe that's where he put his truck and his camper. This is a beautiful spot. This is magnificent. And having watched his video and now standing here, I can definitely tell you that the video does not do this place justice. So if you get a chance to come out here, go watch his video, which I will link to here, and he will, in his description, gives you coordinates to this exact spot, and man, it is magnificent. So let's get set up with the ham radio. Okay, let's get this show on the road. So I found a good spot just 50 feet away from the car. It's kind of raised a little bit. Set up, there's a tree stump, fallen log. Might be able to fashion a stool or something. I'm at 9,000 feet. There's no oxygen here. Whew. I might could stand to lose a couple pounds too. Nah, that can't be it. Okay, let's try this. I'm thinking, well, that's either going to be my chair or a place to set the big orange box. I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely going to be my stool. Through the trees, I can kind of see the horizon off in the distance, and I can tell I'm definitely at the peak of one of these mountains along this range. And so I think I like my chances. Now, let me tell you something else that I'm thinking to myself right now. I'm really regretting that I didn't bring an HF radio. Why? Because I don't own an HF radio yet. Yeah, that's going to change very, very soon. So let's see how far away we can hit. But first, I got to set everything up. All right, so let's do that. Okay, that wasn't too bad. The one lesson I learned from all that is, yeah, keep your rope untangled, nice and neat and tidy and orderly. Because when you're up in the mountains and you want to shoot a cool YouTube video and you're setting up your antenna and you have to untangle a whole bunch of paracord, it's not fun. Let's hook up the radio. All right, here we go. Big orange box. And where's my, let's see. Need to hook this up. Where'd we go? There we go. Oh. All right. Oh, and folks, please, next time I make one of these videos, remind me to bring my tripod so I can use both hands. Okay. So I recharged the battery last night, not that it was particularly low. Looking at 12.6, that'll probably, yep, there it is, 12.5. That'll drop down to the lower 12 point somethings here. Not going to use the Raspberry Pi at this time, so I'm going to turn off the little monitor. Man, the dirt up here gets on everything. I'd forgotten. It's just nuts. Okay. And all right, radio's on. I should probably tilt that thing back so I can actually look at the screen. Okay, I'll put a rock under it. So that's better. So now we can see the readout there. And I programmed a whole bunch of repeaters for this area, everywhere between El Paso and Ruidoso, really. And El Paso is about 60 miles to the south of me, and Ruidoso is about, I don't know, 30 miles to the north, something like that. So let's give it a shot. Well, of the repeaters that I programmed, and it was probably about 50 of them for a pretty wide area, I hit exactly one. I was able to key the repeater break squelch on exactly one of them, and it's one that is about 7 miles away from where I am right now. Definitely direct line of sight. It's straight down there. I don't know if you can tell in the video, but right behind those trees the mountain drops off, and it's just the Tularosa Basin and White Sands, and Alamogordo is down there, and it's an Alamogordo repeater that I heard. Now, it was absolutely crystal clear. It was beautiful, and all I did was break squelch. I didn't actually try and call anybody up. I will in a minute, but for now, what I'm doing is I just switched over into VFO mode. I'm just, oops, it stopped scanning. Well, it hit something, but I think it was just noise. So I'm just doing a frequency scan at this point. And so I'm going to go up through 2 meters, and I'll skip up to 440 to 70 centimeters, and to see if I can hear anything. I heard somebody from Denver yesterday, but I believe I already told you that. Anyway, of course I couldn't reach out to them, but because I was transmitting with 25 watts and all that, but that was pretty cool. But yeah, up here in this particular spot that I'm on, yeah, it's you're really seeing the line of sight limitation of 2 meter and 70 centimeter FM in action. If there's a mountain in the way, you're not getting through to anyone. So there we go. So I did manage to key a few stations, but there's no one out there. I guess folks in the Tularosa Basin area just don't get on their ham radios on Sunday at noon. Strange. Anyway, I'm counting this as a pretty good test of taking this thing out into the wild, not just my backyard. And there have been some lessons learned. Number one, I think this thing needs to be a lot more dust resistant. Like, there's a, wow, there is a really angry squirrel. Are you a squirrel? What? Leave me alone. I'm not bothering you. You hush. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Where is he? My goodness. Oh, there he is. You know what? I'm not bothering you. I'm talking. I'm making a YouTube video. Look, you're going to be a star. You can either be a good star, or you can be a, oh, that squirrel star, and be infamous and be the bad boy. But you need to just leave me alone now, okay? Hush. Where were we? As I was saying, this thing needs to be a lot more dust resistant, because, you know, I've got these big gaps in there, and the dust out here is significant. This dirt sticks to anything and everything. That's not a huge deal, but, you know, I know when I get back home, I'm going to need to crack this thing open and blow it out with some canned air. Let's see, what else? Another thing is the direct line of sight nature of 2 meter and 440 is on full display here today. If there's a mountain in your way, you're not skipping off any ionosphere. That's not a frequency that does that. So you got to have line of sight. And even though I'm up on top of a mountain, the only repeaters I'm hitting are line of sight. I checked repeater book, and pulled out Google Maps and looked at their locations, and yeah, I mean, so that's really been brought home for me this time. And man, that squirrel is still going. Do you want a peanut or something? I've got snacks in the car. They say you're not supposed to feed the forest critters, though. Now I see why. 'Cause they're all mean like you. Oh, shut up. I didn't mean that. You're cute and fuzzy and I love you, but shh. Now, one thing I am a little proud of myself about is the fact that I knew I did not need to bring a hammer. And the reason I didn't need to bring a hammer for the tent spikes, for the guy lines here, is because there are rocks everywhere. And I knew that ahead of time. And I didn't want the added weight. Although a plastic tent stake mallet would probably not add that much weight to this thing. It's already just really heavy. I'm a huge guy. I'm very strong. But even then, this thing is a beast. It's really, really heavy. So I don't want to add that much more weight to it. Well, didn't really get to talk to anybody because there wasn't anybody out there, but I'm still going to call this a success because I know I was able to key up repeaters, and most importantly, I learned something. I learned about the capabilities and the limitations of 2 meter and 70 centimeter. Sure, you can read about them in a book, you can watch a YouTube video about it, but until you're out and you actually experience it for yourself, I know that sounds strange, but you know, it's kind of cool. I'm like, that lesson's cemented in the old noggin now. So it was pretty cool. And I'll probably do a little this and that, changes to the big orange box. But I think I'm just going to go ahead and take it down, pack it back up, and enjoy this beautiful forest. Also got to say, another great reason to come up here to the mountains in the Cloudcroft, New Mexico area is, like with a lot of places in the Rocky Mountains, it smells amazing up here. I mean, everywhere you go, it smells like Christmas. It's pine trees. You can't get away from it. It's fantastic. I even don't mind the angry squirrel anymore. I love you. I don't care how mad you get at me. I can't stay mad at you. I love you too. All right, mission accomplished. Let's go look at some more mountains. Down about, I don't know, 50 yards away from the spot where I had set up the radio. This is a place that Dispersed Camping Man told me to check out. That was in his video that's linked down below. There is indeed still what appears to be a nice little shelter that somebody made, probably put either a tarp or a bunch of pine boughs over. Yeah, I'd recognize something like this anywhere. They found some really good sized branches too, so whoever did this, I mean, you can tell it's been messed up by the weather or time, or I don't know, maybe people have come out here and kicked around on it, but I mean, it looks like it was really well made at one point. And over there is, I don't know if this was here when Dispersed Camping Man was here, but apparently there's a little cross over there. I hope that's not a gravesite, and if it is, I hope the funeral was beautiful. Hey, you bush leaguer. What are you doing up here anyway? It's supposed to be chipmunks up here, not squirrels. What are you doing? Stay in your lane. I still love you.